It's so nice to meet you guys. This series, I just saw it this morning, 2 episodes of it, and it's just spectacular. I wanted to know, Cynthia and Sara, this is the first time we've seen your characters on film. How much freedom did you get to depict them?
I personally feel like I had a lot of freedom. JD and Patrick, the showrunners, are just very collaborative. So they wrote these amazing scripts, but they also allowed us to sit and discuss our characters, talk about their history, their backstory, and discuss where they might be going. So I felt like I had a great deal of freedom to explore who Marigold was. And then the directors as well. I mean, I don't think I've ever worked with such generous directors in terms of reworking things and discussing things, and I just felt like it was so collaborative that I felt quite a lot of freedom, actually, more than I probably have in any other television show I've worked on.
Yeah, I would say the same. I mean, you have Tolkien's sort of writing as the jumping off point, but I think, I know for the character of Míriel, you know, there are things written about her and things written about her story and where it ultimately goes, but what was exciting for me was getting the chance to really fill in some of these gaps and have a fully realized 3-dimensional female character that is not just in service of other characters. Mm-hmm. So that was exciting to me. And, you know, certainly you never do it alone. So the collaboration between the showrunners, as you said, the directors, your fellow cast members and people that you were working very closely with, it really felt like we were taking the time to just get it right and give it its due diligence. So I really appreciated that, and it felt like a true gift to have that time, because a lot of times you don't have the time.
No, that's right.
Robert, this is the second time that you've played a character, like the younger version of a character who is already established in a film or series. What kind of preparation do you do for that?
Different, you know, the very different, because the assignment on Thrones was way different. If I assume that's what you're referring to.
Yes.
Because I was creating. I mean, I think I actually wore Sean's clothes in that. You know, it was like the idea was to sort of create something that people had already seen. Whereas here, the boys pointed me in the direction of the Legendarium as my resource. And I became very passionate about fair stage stories and Elrond's past. And so that's where all of my research went for this one, you know, and exploring this half-elf, this different creature in Middle-earth. And so, it's quite different.
All of the sets are so breathtaking. Which one did you think was the most beautiful?
She's laughing because she knows what I'm going to say.
I'm laughing because I
might be a little biased. But I do work on the Numenor set quite a bit. And I mean, the beautiful thing, we're all laughing just because, you know, Numenor is meant to represent a society that is essentially at the height of its wealth and prosperity. And so you see that in all of the details. And this was literally a city that was built from the ground up, actually built in the sense that, you know, there were many functional aspects of the set. You could walk down alleyways, you could row a boat, you know, to the dock, there were markets, and it really was incredible. But what's interesting is there are also a lot of on-location set pieces that just use New Zealand's natural landscape and sort of very much incorporate that. I mean,
which
I feel
would be my world, yeah. So the landscape became our set, and that was incredibly immersive, as what you were speaking about earlier. That you would just walk into the Half-Foot world and you would be there. It was not like you were pretending. You were literally in the forest with all the carts and the trees, and it was breathtakingly beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
I was just thinking that, I mean, like, I've worked on some incredible sets, but there's one set in Numenor where it was Charles Edwards' first day, and it's this spectacular set. I've never seen anything like it. It's a whole building, you know, and we just did the scene in there and walked about and spoke the words to each other, and it was so immersive, you know. Everything is of Middle-earth, and so, like, I just remember just being blown away by this thing, you know, just wanted to walk around and play in it because it's so real, you know. There's graffiti in the corners of the thing that no one is ever going to see, but there's just the attention to detail, especially in Numenor, is just breathtaking.
I heard that some of the actors didn't even know who they were going to be playing because there was so much secrecy involving this show. Did you all know who you were going to be when you arrived on set?
No, not for me.
Oh,
I
wow.
didn't know, but I had a very short window from when I got the call to having to be in New Zealand. It was 3 days. And then I was on set 2 weeks later. So I arrived, I thought I knew the name, and that was sort of about it. And so I got to discover along the way, which was incredible. It didn't leave time for me to feel stressed or nervous. I just had to dive in.
Yeah, I didn't know when I was cast. And once I got to New Zealand and you know, eventually was given a script and then was told, you know, sort of not just who the character was, but essentially what that then implied, because, you know, you get a name. And for me, I wasn't necessarily familiar with that character in the lore. Once I had an understanding of where she fit into everything, it was like, oh, well then I'm very excited. You know.
I just remember those. It's sort of like the whole thing is a blur until I'm on the Skype with JD and he just tells me who I was playing, and I just remember that moment. Really, you know, are you sure? You know, it was. You know, I will never forget that moment where he told me who I was playing, because I love this character so much.
And this show, I love this show so much. I can't wait to see the rest of it. Thank you so much, all of you, for talking to me today.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching. If you're new to the channel, or if you're returning but you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, tap it now, plus the notification bell in the top right-hand corner so you make sure you don't miss out on any new celebrity interviews. Also, hit the like button and tell me below in the comments, who's your favorite star? Who would you like to see me interview next? I'd love to hear from you.